You have inside information that can expose damaging misconduct at the company. You want to tell somebody. How do you select the best whistleblower attorney for your case? Hi, I'm attorney Jason T. Brown, former FBI special agent and legal advisor. I run the law firm Brown LLC, a law firm that has roughly 20 plus people with a focus on whistleblower litigation and protecting whistleblower rights. One of the common questions people come to us with is, how do you select the best whistleblower attorney for your case? And I want to walk you through some criteria that I think is extremely important when evaluating what firm to go with and why. The first criteria is to examine what is the focus of that law firm's practice. You wouldn't go to your general practitioner doctor for them to do brain surgery. I mean, the idea seems outlandish if you think about it. Similarly, when you look for a law firm, you don't want to go for a general practice law firm. You need to go with a law firm that has a focus of its practice on protecting whistleblowers, like Brown LLC. That's how you generally get the best results, through experience. It matters. The second thing is the past, present, and future. Now, you may say, Mr. Brown, what are you talking about? Is this Dr. Strange traveling through time? No. Every one of those time periods is important. The past results. Past results matter. You should look for a firm that has experience in the subject matter that you intend to blow the whistle on and ask them about their track record and results. The present. Is that firm in a position to coach you about what to do while you're stuck in the stress of the event, in the real whirlwind of what whistleblowers feel when they're at a company that's committing misconduct? Who can you trust? Do you report it to the internal company compliance line? Yes or no, and why? Generally, that leads to the employee's termination. How do you gather evidence? If you do it lawfully, you're protected. If you don't, it may be you that's being sued. And the future. Does the firm have enough sixth sense, prescience, and experience to tell you what are the likely routes that your particular case may go? What are the trajectory? What is the time horizon? And can you plan for your parachute? What do I mean by that is, what are you going to do if and when the company finds out it was you that blew the whistle? Some programs, like the SEC Whistleblower Program, CFTC Whistleblower Program, IRS Whistleblower Program, and AML Whistleblower Program, allow the whistleblower to become cloaked in anonymity with the use of whistleblower counsel. False Claims Act, probably the most prolific statute for whistleblowers over the last decade, doesn't inherently allow that, but there are some tricks and tips that could potentially let you do that. But in any event, if your identity is revealed, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay with the company? Do you want to leave? And these are things that an experienced firm can shepherd you through, which is critical. Experience and results. Hand in hand with focus of the practice, experience is critical and results do matter. And also size matters. Let's take the last one first. Size matters because you generally don't want to trust your life and career with a small mom and pop shop. Sure, there are terrific solo practitioners, but what are you going to do when that one individual is on vacation and all of a sudden that's the day the boss calls you in Friday afternoon and needs to get a statement from you and you can't get a hold of your attorney? You need a firm, generally. You don't need just one individual. Sure, you'll be working with an individual, or at Brown LLC with multiple individuals, but you need access to some continuity and coverage, not just hope that the one person's available when you need them. Because generally, if it's an individual, they're going to be backlogged and not be able to get to your matter. It's going to be triaged. Here at our firm, we have a stable of hardworking attorneys and staff, roughly 20 people, that are here to assist you. Results matter. When you look at your particular fact pattern, one of the most poignant questions you should ask the potential law firm that you're contemplating working with is, have they handled something comparable to your situation? If so, what, if anything, are the results? If the best indicator of the future is the past, look to see how they nimbly handled something comparable or belly flopped with it. That's a critical criteria in understanding if the firm is right for you. Similarly, and there's something that we should never overlook, is are you even a whistleblower? I've done many videos about this, but in order to invoke the benefits and protections of whistleblower law, you need to identify what cognizable statute you wish to blow the whistle under. Is it a securities violation and therefore you wish to blow the whistle under the SEC whistleblower program and avail yourself of Sarbanes-Oxley Dodd-Frank protections? Is it the False Claims Act and you're looking to get protections from the H portion of the statute? Or is it a particular granular state statute such as SEPA in New Jersey, which has a very broad protection for employees? You need to identify what statute you're invoking from the very onset, because if you don't know what you're doing and your law firm doesn't know what they're doing, you may find out at the end of the day, you are out of luck. Your case isn't going to proceed. You went through all the heartache and headache for nothing. And maybe I'm saying heartache and headache because if it's handled nimbly and professionally, the law firm will bear the brunt of any of the stress. You'll find with firms like ours, we'll be able to coach you every step of the way, absorb the stress, and we'll tell you when, if at all, to worry. And oftentimes, there's not a whole lot to worry about. Former Department of Justice experience. Now, the False Claims Act, it's integral to file the case with the Department of Justice. And what I mean by that is even though it's filed in court, confidentially under seal, the prosecuting agency, along with your whistleblower attorney, will be the Department of Justice. So does your firm that you're contemplating using, are they a complete outsider? Do they have an antagonistic relationship with the Department of Justice? Or like Brown LLC, do they have several individuals who are former Department of Justice alumni? That can assist with seamlessly interfacing with the rules, regulation, and people at the Department of Justice who may be prosecuting your case. Similarly, if you're going to the SEC whistleblower program, does your firm or potential firm have individuals that are from the SEC? Brown LLC, we commonly interface and collaborate with our SEC litigation with former inside workers at the SEC, which we think is critical in order to understand the process and move the cases along to the extent that they can be moved along. Accessibility. Does the firm have firm hours? If you're working from 9 to 5 and they're only working from 9 to 5, it's hard to call it work. You really want a firm that has 24/7 coverage. It's 2 a.m. on Sunday and you need to get your attorney, you need to get a hold of them. Yeah, we may be asleep, but we have people standing by on the phone. We can get paged. We speak to people. We set up appointments after hours or on weekends. We have a great deal of resources as well. We travel all over the country, if not the world, in order to facilitate and move cases forward. We enjoy meeting with our clients nowadays, thanks to technology. You could do it via Zoom or Teams or things like that. But in the old days, we used to fly all over to meet with our clients. And it's a joy to be able to meet with the people who want to work with us and we have the pleasure of working with. Costs. How much is it going to cost you? Well, for accomplished firms like Brown LLC, we are very selective about the cases that we take. We don't take everything that walks through the door or calls up or writes us. Matter of fact, it may surprise some people, but for every 100 contacts, maybe we take 1 or 2 cases to look at, and from them, maybe we only file 1 of those. So we're very, very discerning about what we choose to litigate. And therefore, because we think we have great field vision, although nothing is ever guaranteed, we're in a position to take your case on contingency. Contingency means we're only paid if we win your case. We will even advance the costs of the litigation. And if we lose for some reason, case doesn't succeed because there are certain things outside everybody's control, we just eat those costs. And let me end with a final point before I give you my closing message. And it's an interesting point people don't cite to, but personality. Do you gel with the firm that you are going to be working with? Bob Seger sings a song called I Feel Like a Number. He sings, I feel like just a big spoke on a wheel, a tiny blade of grass in a great big field. I feel like a number. And sometimes in that song, if you listen to it, he even barks like a dog, just feeling like he's just beaten down by the man at the end of the day. Do you feel just like a number when you call that firm, or do they value who you are, the courage that you have for contemplating to come forward and blow the whistle, or that they just cast you like a number and go, okay, next, take your turn, something along those lines? And you really, it's kind of sort of like a mini marriage. You're going to most likely be with this firm for many years. Do you get a good feeling from them early on or not? Is it just an individual or not? Are they mean to you? Is this the type of person, when you're having a bad day, if you call, will make your day worse? Or is this a type of firm that when you call and you're having a bad day, they value who you are and work on cheering you up and treat you like a human being and a person? That's what we try to do at our firm. We value the people that choose to work with us. We try to treat everybody like our family, but we know we have an important mission to do. We're objective. We're passionate. We want to move the case along. If we take the case, our philosophy is, if you were my grandma, God rest her soul, I want to work as hard for her as I'm going to work for you. Otherwise, you're going to feel the difference. So I encourage you, really take a couple minutes when you're doing the intake process, speaking with various attorneys, and do you have a good feeling about working with them, or does your spider sense tingle, and why? Choosing the right whistleblower attorney is a critical decision that you make very early in the case, and it can have a profound impact on your life, your case, even your liberty. So it is really critical to choose right, choose early, and take your time during the selection process. We went over some criteria that I think is important when you select the best attorney. The best attorney is maybe the best attorney for you. It may not be just the best attorney in the field. We like to think that we're one of the best attorneys and best whistleblower law firms. We're independently ranked by Lex Machina as the second most prolific for an extended period of time in False Claims Act litigation, but we may not be the best attorney for your particular case. I can tell you, though, almost every criteria, if not every criteria that I mentioned, we satisfy. We have hundreds of millions of dollars in settlements and judgments in the False Claims Act litigation alone. That's pretty impressive when you look at it. Very few firms have done that. In addition, we're one of the few firms that have successfully litigated cases after the government declines to intervene. Most firms bail at that juncture. We sometimes fight depending upon the circumstances. And when you go tick off every single list of the criteria we talked about, I think you'll find that we're passionate, we're accessible, we have a focus of our practice, and we can deal with your past, present, and future. The one thing that you'll have to decide for yourself is whether we vibe, whether your personality and ours are consistent and mesh with one another, or even if we're a little bit off to some extent, is there a synergistic effect by working with us? Because you'll find often, even if you are very challenging, and maybe you have a self-reflection that you are or aren't, but you have a challenging case, you know you have a challenging personality, you may find out that we're the dynamic firm that can contort to what your needs are to help you obtain a great result. Blowing the whistle is an act of courage. It's about standing up for what's right when it's not easy. It's about doing what's right when you might be the only person in the room. Well, if you take the right steps and work with Brown LLC, you won't be the only person in that room, because we will be in your corner every step of the way. You will have access to us. We will help structure and blueprint that case from start to finish to do everything we can to make that a success. I thank you for thinking about blowing the whistle. I hope you give our firm a try by calling 877-561-0000 for a free confidential consultation. If not our firm, definitely stick with a firm that has a focus at protecting whistleblowers. But I think you'll enjoy the experience at Brown LLC. And remember, at our firm, if it's not right, we fight.